Happy Leo season, everyone. Welcome to Tarot with Danny, and this is our reading for Leo season for 2026. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, and we will be in Leo season until Virgo on August 22nd. So this is a reading that will kind of help us through this season. And if you are new, welcome. And if you are not, if you're returning, thank you for joining us again. These readings are for you if you found this channel. This is a channel for learning the tarot through readings, through music, through interviews, and through guided meditations. And let's just get right into it. I just pulled the cards already. And so the questions that I asked, I'm going to teach kind of about the Leo season as we go through the reading, but I asked, what is our anchor for Leo season? And our anchor is Six of Cups, but it's in reverse. And this is the Light Seers Tarot deck by Chris Ann. And what we are, a message from our heart, because Leo is very heart-centered, it comes from a heart place. And that is Six of Swords, but upside down. That's what this looks like. And what is blocking our heart? What from this message, really from our heart shining and from us leading from this heart place, something that is blocking us? We have the Star. And how can we lean into our courage? What can we do to kind of overcome our challenges this month? And we have the Ten of Pentacles also in reverse. Okay. What is supporting us in all of this? Past experiences, what can we lean into? And we have the High Priestess. And she was also in reverse. There's a few reverses in here. And what is our guiding light? We have the Eight of Wands. So first off, what I'm feeling is we are in a time of expansion. We have these sixes here. Six is our expansion. We are also in a time of transformation with the Eight of Wands and the Star both being the number 8. And it really feels like we are in transitions, but we are having trouble trusting ourselves, trusting because we're wanting more proof, and it's not quite there that our efforts and the things that we have been growing are really they're not really necessarily showing the tangible signs or things that we might expect to see the results. There's this feeling of maybe kind of disappointment or lack of hope that what we've been growing is not showing up in with evidence yet. But I feel like in this reading there is a message: do not quit, keep going. What you are doing is moving you forward. And a big part of this month, we are in the wheel of the year of the wheel, which is number 10 in the major arcana. And if you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, you get to the number 10. And 10 is the wheel. And the wheel is a card of evolution. It is a card of moving forward and moving like up-leveling almost. And if you think about the invention of the wheel, you know, humans were able to go twice or 3 times as fast as you could on feet, right? So the momentum of the year of the wheel is really ramped up. The wheel has been, we've kind of had some barriers. We've had kind of feel like we've gone through the mud a little bit, but the trajectory of the wheel really is going to help us if you continue to be consistent and steady and committed to what it is that you're wanting to grow, that the wheel is going to take you a lot further than it would at a different time. So there's this feeling of being able to really trust in that. So I'll get a little bit more deeper into the cards. And I also feel like we are really in this time of generational healing and healing from like families. I'm feeling kind of this maybe disassociation from family, from, you know, it could be arguments, it could be even estranged. There's something that has to do with our family ties here this month to pay attention to. So starting off, our anchor, we have the Six of Cups in reverse. And this is a card of nostalgia. It brings us to the story. You can see this little boy with the puppy and kind of feeling in your heart the shifting of time. Yeah, there might be I'm getting what's coming through is like, it's going too fast. I'm not where I wanted to be at this time, like a little bit of disappointment there. And I did a previous post. I really recommend watching that, my tarot stories about the Six of Cups. And really one of the most helpful exercises that I do with this card is to see how, I forget the exact name I called it, but basically it's retelling your story by looking at a picture, and going back in time. So for example, if you are looking at a picture of a time in your life and it immediately brings you back to a certain place that maybe you're not proud of, or you regret, or is painful, or nostalgic, or you're missing it, and what you see in the picture might be these smiling faces, but really what's behind it that can't be seen in the picture, there's these memories that you're associating with that time in your life. And there is a time right now to kind of reassess how we're looking at ourselves and our story. I feel like we're maybe being a little bit hard on ourselves, is a feeling that's coming through. And Leo, I haven't really mentioned much about Leo. So we know, I always think of the lion in The Wizard of Oz. Leo is ruled by the sun, right? The Leo characteristic can kind of be like, the stereotype, like the Leo is the sun, and all the planets and all the people in their lives kind of orbit around the Leo, because it's not even necessarily that they have to be the center of attention. It can be because they just have this presence about them that draws people in. And it is because they are very heart-centered. And the world that we live in has been so much dominated more by logic and the brain and needing proof of things. And so when you are just in that like je ne sais quoi of someone, there is that Leo quality. There's a very strong characteristic of leadership in a Leo, and it's because they're brave enough to show up, and they also see the good in others, because their deepest desire is to be seen in their authenticity, and it's not to be famous or to receive praise, although the praise is an important part for a Leo, because if they're not having a mirror, literally the heart chakra, I think of really as the lovers too, it's like others hold up a mirror so that we are sure that how we're seeing ourselves, like that's kind of how we gauge how we're doing, is the feedback that we get from others. So that being said, I really think of the sixes, and we have that for our anchor, and we also have it for our heart. The sixes are the heart chakra. In my practice, really, they bring that attention to my Reiki energy work, and it is a number of expansions. So we are expanding in when you can see yourself in a more clear light, and see, I want to say, with more of a compassionate and understanding view of yourself, that's going to impact how you're showing up. There is this part of how we're preparing is where there's a lot of internal work, I feel like, that's happening like behind the scenes before we're really showing up in the way that we want to. So with our heart, what is the message that it's telling us? We have the Six of Swords reversed, and there is this it's a message of trusting better. It's like there are places that maybe we have been hurt. If you think about in your life, places where maybe you have been shut out, rejected, anything like that maybe has you a little bit wary of really kind of following the next step that you want to take. And with the Six of Swords, it's saying if you can trust a little bit more, trust that you're also going to be held. You can see she's got this suitcase in her, and she's packed her bag. She's got into the boat. She trusted enough to get into the boat. And there are some birds pulling the strings, but there are also some flying in the air. And so you can only control what you can control. And there's this, the battle between the head and the heart. is that the head wants to control, it wants to know logic and have clarification. And in this card, there is not clarification. It's saying that you have to trust a little bit, and it does ask us to lean into community a little bit. I do feel like another quality of the Leo is that there can be quite a loneliness in a Leo. Because, you know, even though they're traditionally, there's a herd, right? Or a pride of lions. But a Leo, if they are in the public eye, and they can have that quality of being, you know, the diva or their performer, that they can be sometimes seen as one note, and really seen for however the audience kind of wants to put them into, you know, a category, like, oh, they are this, they are this. And the Leo says, no, I'm a lot more than that, but there can be this loneliness that they're not really seen for some of the other depth of their qualities. And so I think that there's something here that our heart is saying that we see that there's some of that loneliness here, and you know, it's okay to reach out sometimes, because what's blocking us is the star. There is healing here. The star is a card of hope, and I also equate it with Aquarius, which is the like the brother and sister would be like Leo and Aquarius. They're opposite ends of the zodiac, so they're kind of like partners and they mirror each other. So when with the Leo wanting to heal through being able to put what's closest to its heart and its experience, and to share it creatively with others, and to be seen in that light and be appreciated and validated. With the Aquarius, it's like there is that element, but it's kind of for the greater good. Like there's a lot of authenticity, like allowing everybody to be seen that way. And I think that with this card being what's blocked is to me, this is always a generational healing card. You can see she's looking up, there's this hope. So I said you sometimes can be hard on yourself here, but there is some stuff that you really are holding and carrying, you know, some of these stories and lack of trust and things that, and wanting proof of things. Like this is kind of some of the programming that you came with, you know, in your DNA, in how you were raised, in the society that we live in. And so there is this generational healing. And what might be blocking you is, you know, that you might be worried about, well, what will my family think of this decision? And what's coming through is sometimes we even do things kind of in spite of, that can get us off our track. It's like we don't want to be a certain way, so we go so far the other way and we do something else instead, because we just don't want to really be, and this has really come through for like a family. I don't want to be like, you know, my dad or whatever the expectation is, you know, of the women or the men or whatever, not wanting to be that. And so you go in the other direction, and your heart's saying, well, maybe there is some of that you actually want to keep, right? You don't have to completely stray from that. So that's an interesting thing that's coming through, is what will help us is finding more of that hope. And there is healing, and remembering in the star card, there is this deeper deeper message too around choice, and that connection to Aquarius, because it's like everybody should have the freedom of choice. And so what's blocking you is, I feel like there's some of us might be thinking that we don't really have that choice. Like what we really want to do, it's not available to us. And I think that there is this, that is what's coming through, is that might be more of your mind trying to keep you safe and protected, because it likes what's familiar and predictable. And we are in a very liminal time where even our next step is not necessarily going to show us the bigger picture. So know that. You'll say like, Danny, well, I'm doing all the things. Well, this season, it's not necessarily going to give you those results still. And so what can we use for courage, right? The Leo is, it doesn't necessarily want to just be seen and participate like on stage. It wants to shine in its very best, and be at its best and brightest, you know? So make sure that it prepares in all the ways, and does all of that. So I don't know why. So with that coming through with this, with the 10 of Pentacles being in reverse for our courage, there is this courage. I'm seeing it with our families again. If you were listening to this, there's got to be some issues going on with your family, and this could be immediate family. This could be, parents, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, in-laws. So having the courage to show up maybe in a different way is what's coming through than maybe you have in the past. And the number 10, it's a number of 0, but it's also a number of 1. So 0 is so much potential. It's it takes courage to see the potential in a situation without necessarily concrete evidence. It's because you have this faith, and we're asking to have more faith in ourselves, and to allow others to kind of see, demonstrate maybe some of our positive characteristics and our strengths, rather than leaning into the weaknesses. But the 10 of Pentacles in reverse is saying that, so with that 0, there is this potential, but it doesn't do anything unless you activate it with the number 1. It requires action. And sometimes I think of this also, what's coming through. I've never heard this before, but I feel like the 10s sometimes are almost like quantum healing, where we're jumping timelines. And that would really make sense with where we're at with the wheel and everything that's happening. That if you are on a different timeline than your family, and trust me, I'm there with you. If you are on a different timeline, that you kind of just trust that if you keep walking, like I see it as like these two pathways, and if you keep saying, no, I'm not, I've been here for so long, and that's not where I want to be. That's not who I am. And you keep like straddling, right? And you're like, no, I'm on this path, but it kind of like almost like a magnet can pulse back. So it requires actively participating in choosing to stay on this other path. So it is kind of like this timeline jumping that can happen. So kind of having a courage to believe in that and trust that if you show up as how you really want to show up for people, that if you do lose people who are maybe not on a different timeline, it is in your highest and best. It is not something to wallow in or say, I want everybody to like me. Ooh, this is okay. So I'm reading this book right now, and this quote's just coming through about writing the book that you're meant to write. And from the Hay House publishers, and one of the messages that they mention is that if you're trying to be for everyone, you're for no one. And this is so Leo. It's like, I'm not trying, they do want to be liked by everybody, but it's because of their true, they're different, because of their uniqueness and their charisma and their, this bright light that they have that others don't really have. Like, what is it that makes your light bright? What is that? So that's an important message for you. If you're trying to be for everyone, you're for no one. So you might ruffle some feathers. And beneath us, what's supporting us is, the High Priestess. This is the number of 2. This is the number of dualities. And we really do hold dualities in the heart. It's like judgment and thinking that things are good or bad or right or wrong, or in the past or in the future. The High Priestess, she can hold those dualities, but she is like a human tuning fork. I just wrote a blog about the connection between music and tarot. I really recommend that. The High Priestess is like I say, our bodies are like a guitar string, and she is able to use her logic, but guided. It's like that's not the guiding force. It's like the logic is there, but first, before she does anything, she tunes into her body. So for part of you, some of these stories, if you feel some uncomfortable things, if it's, grief or regret or hopelessness or despair or, some of those things that might be blocking you from feeling good about yourself and being loving towards yourself, because it does start with ourself. There's a song by Chordline, Start With Yourself. I've been obsessed with. I'm going to do something with that here for Leo season. But when you can tune into maybe how that's showing up in your body, like, do you feel like your shoulders going like this? Do you feel like you're not breathing and you get out of breath? when something comes up, if it's, you know, a text with someone, if it's a conversation, if it's a place that you drive by that sparks a memory, if it's a song, really the high priestess listens to the body first and then is able to take an intuitively based logical approach. So she really is one of the witches in the tarot, extremely the high priestess, and it's just being that way. You know, there is this leadership that we show up, when we show up really as just being who we are, that is what attracts people to you. And like I said, you will not be for everyone when you do that. That's an important message here. So it's okay. It's more, our heart would rather be really seen by others who truly see us than to just get like admiration from people who are jealous of us, you know. Jealousy can come up with Leos, because people wish that they could be brave enough to show up like that Leo is brave, showing up, or how you are showing up this Leo season. So, you know, some people who are inspired and happy for you, like they will support you, but the people who get jealous or maybe bring you down or criticize you or question you, or talk about you behind your back or something, that, you know, they don't have your highest and best, because you're triggering something in themselves that they're afraid to really do and be. So there's that. And our guiding light, this is the Eight of Wands. This, you know, this traditionally is a card of like trust and what you're, you know, everything's coming and it's on its way. It's like, it's just right around the corner, just trust. And there's sometimes this feeling, I think, when even in myself, it's like, okay, I can kind of rest on my laurels because I've already done the things and it's just coming. No. That is not, if you are finding, you know, that this trust, that's kind of what it means, that's not the case. This is a minor arcana. Minor arcana is, it is our free will choices moment by moment. It can change from hour to hour, day to day, based on our free will and what's happening around us and our circumstances, because the wheel is always moving. We're never is time just standing still. So, in this momentum of things going forward, it is a card of transformation. So trust that if you are tuning into your heart and you can't necessarily explain with your brain or have a rhyme or reason to why you feel like this next choice is important. Maybe it's even taking a nap. You know, this isn't even this, you know, Wands connects to our energetic capacity. It's how our fire can burn. Literally, you know, the Leo is the sun. How can we burn and show up and be bright? But, you know, without taking care of your physical vessel, you know, with sleep and eat and your thoughts and physical exercise, you know, that fire is going to be dimmed because it has to be maintained, right? So there is this guiding light of trusting that in each moment, if you're truly kind of following that inner compass, that it is guiding you. No, this is a lot of Sagittarius, which is another fire sign. It's like the Sagittarius is the arrow that releases, and look, these very much look like arrows, right? Flying. There's no person. It's these, yeah, they're without a person. It's like your intentions and the things that are set into motion are, the arrow pulls back and it's in flight. It hasn't landed quite yet. You know, you're not doing all the hard work to pull it back, but there is kind of this, like, if you've shot it and if you start to do things, they're going to take you away from that bullseye. You know, you're not going to see where the potential of it landing, like how you directed it. It's like, keep making your way back, you know, towards that bullseye that you shot at in the first place. There's this message too here of not giving up before you really start to see some of the fruits of your labor, because that can really happen when we get kind of blocked by this star of despair and losing hope. So don't, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, that feels like it's coming to a close. For some reason, I'm thinking what's coming through is if there's any other questions. So I feel like some people are wanting to know with this High Priestess, what's beneath this, like, how are some of the ways, you know, how do I know what my body's telling me? What is that? What do I do with that information? So that's a good question. And in, you know, that's why I love Reiki energy work. And so what I do, I'll just share what I do with this is if I feel like I'm thinking about if I should say yes to something or not. Here's something I've worked with, like boundaries, because I am a Leo and I'm like, fire, yes, let's do it. I support you. And this is an amazing idea. Let's go be creative and grow something new. But I have really learned, the High Priestess has taught me to stop and tune into my, where I receive my answers, and this is part of my human design, is my sacrum, is like my main power center. And I will know before I know, you know? It's like this gut feeling, but it's deep in that sacrum. And I will just have a feeling. And for example, like I was coming up with a list of like book titles for the book I'm writing, and, you know, kind of try all these things, but I wrote down this one and it was like, that's it, you know, you just know it. So, so working with figuring out, maybe testing yourself and saying something that you know for sure is a yes, like let's say you're a mom and like loving your babies, you know, or some path that you know is a for sure yes, happy, best, like awesome choice. And really asking your body and higher self and creating a quiet space. The High Priestess, I mean, she's magical, so make sure you're in a sacred space and you're trusting that what's coming through is in your highest and best. Especially with this ancestor healing, you can call in ancestors with your highest and best. That would be very helpful. And to just say, you know, help me, or show me with my yes. What is this yes? And, you know, for me, starting out reading tarot would sometimes be like this finger would tap over the card, right? I will sometimes start, when I release my body, my body does these weird twitching things with my face, and I will know, I will sometimes ask that, and it'll be like a sign of, yeah, this moment, like, yep, stop, pause, pay attention to this. This is important. So kind of maybe ask with your own body. This is experimenting. Do it even before you go to bed, and practice what's a yes in my body. How do I know? Do I feel, is it butterflies? Do I feel like a breath of like peace wash over me, you know? And you can even communicate. The High Priestess would also communicate through, you know, not language necessarily. So you can ask for a sign, even a sign that would be not obvious to others. Like for me, I will say, show me a blue jay when I'm on the right path. And it'll find its way to me somehow in a picture, in a song, on the street. So those are some ways that you can kind of practice that, tuning into kind of what are your yeses. And if you have those no's, I really think of doing some research, and I can do more talk about this, but looking at if it's your shoulders, you know, that would be like your heart chakra. So if it's your shoulders that are holding it and you're like this, like you're carrying a lot of heavy weight that's probably not yours and it's weighing you down, and work with your heart chakra. Your heart chakra may be saying you're afraid of being judged. And so you're taking on this extra stuff and you don't want people to judge you. And so you're kind of carrying things that you don't want to carry just out of fear of being rejected. And so working with compassion and forgiveness in your heart chakra would help to open up that area. You know, if it's headaches, it's working kind of with that third eye chakra. And even, yeah, it's interesting this come through. So yeah, if you are feeling stuff like in your head, headaches, neck, crown, with that, you'll want to actually work a lot on opening up like your feet and your root, because when we get things stuck up here, it might not be able to flow down and through. So it's like kind of like a bottleneck. So guided meditations, you know, there's so many things, but that was a good question. So, yeah, if you have questions, please reach out to me. It's Danny@entropyhealing.com is my email, and you can find out more at entropyhealing.com. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Oh, lastly, I am wearing my little lion earrings. Love, love it. All about the Leo. Bring the bling this season. That's my personal advice to you. Okay, adios.